It's a whole new country, but unfortunately, it is much of the same results. The New York Jets fall to the Denver Broncos in London and are still the only winless team in the NFL. My thoughts on this game, the big concerns moving forward, and what can we do as Jet fans? All this and more coming up on Rich Sports Talk. Another Jets loss as they keep piling up. A new country, but the same results. Again, welcome to Rich Sports Talk, your home for all the latest and greatest on the New York Jets. We come live after every single Jets game. Super chat to donate to the channel and jump to the front of the line. And of course, if you are listening to us on podcast form, you can always check us out wherever podcasts are streaming. We'll get to the post-game results. We'll see some of the comments, but this one is fully on this coaching staff. And coming up, I have key questions that I think Woody Johnson needs to ask. Because I'll tell you this, Woody Johnson has to be pissed. Because you know the London game means a lot to him. Don't believe me? What happened after last year? He fired Robert Saleh. I don't think he's going to do that with Aaron Glenn. But this was a brutal loss. I'll start with the very little positives in this game. I will say it was great having Kenny Nwangu back with a great kick return. I'm very happy to say that this defense looks like they were flying around today. Brownlee and Jermaine Johnson clearly are dogs on this defense and got the energy going. But this was as infuriating. At least I'll give the Jets this. At least the script was somewhat different for the misery this week. But let's start this game off. The Jets on the first drive do something they haven't done in 5 games. They force a turnover and give this offense a short field, to which the offense goes 3 and out and they kick a field goal. Next drive, Jets off a great kick return. Great field position again. 3 and out. Jets, would you believe it, the first 4 offense possessions, 4 3 and outs. 4 3 and outs. They didn't get a first down, ladies and gentlemen, until 2:27 in the second quarter. The first 12 plays of this game resulted in 1 yard. That's right. The Jets ran more plays than they gained in feet on the football field. But to me, the microcosm of this New York Jets team and what is wrong with this New York Jets team is why this team is winless was the end of the first half. The end of the first half was mind-numbing. The Jets have the football, trying to get into field goal range, are running the football in a 2-minute drill, to the point where Kurt Warner, a Hall of Fame quarterback, is looking at Rich Eisen and just cannot believe what he is seeing. And it's what we're all seeing. And what we all have to admit, this coaching staff does not believe in Justin Fields. They can say all they want in the press conference today, but they don't trust him. They don't let him run the offense because they know, like we've seen with all the tape, he can't process the field. He holds on to the ball too long. He puts the Jets in undesirable situations and basically has this team not prepared on the offensive side. And then to end the half, you see the clock winding down. It's 4th and 1. Run a play. Run a play. They just let the clock die. Why? 4th and 1. Throw it up in the end zone. And I know many of you would have that flashback to the Miami game, but you know what? Try. Do something. Maybe Fields takes off on the play, is running to out of bounds or trying to dive for a first down, gets an illegal hit. You get an untimed play and a chance for a field goal. Maybe you get a defensive pass interference. They didn't even try. And you saw Garrett Wilson just ripping this coaching staff saying, why aren't we trying? But this, to me, Aaron Glenn, I'll give Aaron Glenn credit. If he wanted to divide a locker room, I think what he did in this game was malpractice. And it is a big question we're going to have. And I want to hear the answer when he comes to the press conference. You saw that performance in the first half where Justin Fields had -1 passing yards. -1 to the point, and I put this on Twitter, and I never thought I would put this, but again, the 2025 Jets have me questioning things I thought I would never question. I've done things on this show that I have not thought I would ever do. I've given Adam Gase a compliment. I thought that would never happen. You know what they're making me do now? They're making me, and I asked this legitimate question on Twitter, is Zach Wilson better than Justin Fields? Because I'm looking at the stat line for Justin Fields in this game. Justin Fields was 9 of 17 for 45 yards passing. 9 of 17. The Jets could not throw the football. The Jets had 82 yards of passing. 82 total yards. The Jets finished this game. The Jets finished this game with negative 10 passing yards. Negative 10 passing yards. 1.4 yards per play. 2 for 15 on third down. Allowed 9 sacks because Justin Fields can't get rid of the football. And you as a coaching staff have the audacity to say, we can somehow win with this. In a way, I'm glad the Jets didn't win this game because I still would have lambasted them. I would have said this was one of the ugliest wins I've ever seen. It's great that you got that crooked number in the win column, but man, that would have been just putting lipstick on a pig because the Jets had negative 10 passing yards. I'm trying to find if there's a stat on Twitter. I'm seeing if someone tweet out, when's the last time a team had negative passing yards? I guess this is different. We were making fun of the Broncos in my view last week that they had only 60 yards passing against the Jets defense. Well, I guess the only thing worse is going negative 10. Negative 10 passing yards. A text from a former executive to me, this offensive coordinator has to swim home. This was as bad as I've seen the Jets ever on offense. Like, this is Zach Wilson, like worse than Zach Wilson. And this, to me, is why this game is so infuriating and why this fan base should be so irate and why I do think Aaron Glenn now is trending to a one-and-done coach. You were in this game at the half despite everything that happened. And you had an opportunity to make a change. Justin Fields is not your franchise quarterback. Justin Fields at best was a bridge quarterback. Justin Fields is not someone you've drafted in the first round and you're trying to make him work. This isn't Zach Wilson where he needs to take his lumps. You need to see what he can do and you hope he can swim. Justin Fields is a rental. He is not the long-term franchise quarterback. You told, and this is why if I'm Aaron Glenn, I am terrified that I am creating a divide on this team. Because you know what, Aaron Glenn? You just told every player on this team that you don't care about winning. You said it in the press conferences all offseason. We're not the same old Jets. We're built differently. We're going to try to win games. We're not rebuilding. You want to win a game? You put Tyrod Taylor in there. It was clear that Justin Fields did not have it today. He had negative passing yards in the first half. And you have the audacity to look us as a fan base, as football consumers. And if you come up to this podium today and you tell us that you see something differently, that you're smarter than us, we saw a quarterback that was cooked today. He did not have it today. And he was basically pleading, someone save me. Someone get me out of here. And instead, you didn't give Tyrod Taylor an opportunity. Every Jet fan on Twitter is screaming. Every even in the press box, they're saying, why is Tyrod Taylor not in this game? Why is Tyrod Taylor not given an opportunity? Because it's telling me that you are going to die on your sword, Aaron Glenn. It tells me that you do not care how to win games. You don't care about the guys in this locker room. You didn't care to say, you know what? Justin Fields doesn't have it, but let's try to win this game. And guess what? We'll figure out for next week. Let's just get that monkey off our back. Let's get that win in the win column. Because your defense, which again, I have lambasted for weeks and it's been deserved. They showed up today. They created turnovers. They put you in great spots. They kept you in the game. They put one of the best offenses in this league and one of the best offensive coaches, and they held them. They held them. Even late in this game, when the Broncos are driving, they hold them to a field goal. All you have to do is kick a field goal. All you have to do is kick a field goal, and you can't do it because everyone knows your team is cooked. Your offense is cooked. I am amazed that Garrett Wilson is able to walk out of this game for the hospital balls that I saw thrown by Justin Fields, how wildly behind they were, how they were not even close. And you're going to go to that locker room today. You're going to go to that podium, and you're going to tell Jets fans that you know what you're doing. You're going to sit there and you're going to tell everyone, we're smarter than you. We know what we're doing. Everyone could see that Tyrod Taylor needed to be in there. Would Tyrod Taylor have won this game? I think he would have. Because you know what Tyrod Taylor can do? Yeah, he holds on to the ball. But you know why? Because he'll push the ball down the field. He'll take a shot. And he actually goes through progressions to see who's open. You look at the film. It's not just that Justin Fields is holding the ball too long. Guys are open. Guys are open. And he's not getting them the football. And you're going to go up there. And if you tell this fan base that you thought he gave you the best chance to win, you're full of it. Or you're just clueless. I don't know what it is. And I'll get to some of the press conference sound in a bit. Again, Super Chat jumped to the front of the line. But if I'm Woody Johnson, I have a lot of questions. And I wrote down a couple. And I'm being dead serious because I know Woody is pissed after this game. He can do it when they get back to New Jersey. He can do it on the 6-hour plane ride home. But you have serious questions that you have to ask this coach and this regime. And I have a theory about this trade deadline that's going to tell us, when I do the trade deadline special, what I think Woody is telling the people on the inside and how that's going to affect how this team operates at the trade deadline. All right, Woody Johnson. He gets Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. Guys, how is it we can't score a touchdown? How is it that we can't score a touchdown? Guys, explain to me something. Justin Fields a -1 passing yards. In your opinion, you didn't think you'd go to Tyrod Taylor, who's a veteran quarterback in this league. You didn't even think to give him a series or two to see if he could spark the offense. What did you see in Justin Fields that we ended up paying $40 million for? What did you see in him? You made me get rid of Aaron Rodgers because you made it sound like you knew what you saw something in this quarterback, that this could be a solid bridge quarterback. He does not look like he belongs on a football field. And I'd ask them this really good question. I brought it up in my preview, but I have a great question for you, Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. We didn't have a quarterback. You made me get rid of Aaron Rodgers. You said it was the right decision for this organization. Please explain to me how, when we don't have a quarterback, you didn't have a top 30 visit for Jackson Dart. Explain to me how we didn't do any scouting on Jackson Dart, how we didn't even attend his pro day. Because I'm looking across town and I'm seeing Jackson Dart. That team has energy. That team has a spark. Justin Fields, they look dead. So explain to me, gentlemen, I trusted you to sort out the quarterback position this offseason. You said get rid of Aaron Rodgers and go to Justin Fields. That hasn't worked. You didn't bother to look at any of the kids in the quarterback draft. Okay. So if we're picking top 2 or 3, which I think is where we're heading, why should I trust in you that you're going to figure it out? Why should I trust you that you're going to pick the right quarterback? Why should I trust that you're going to develop a quarterback when you clearly see a quarterback drowning for his life out on the football field, and not just a rookie, a 5th-year quarterback, and you thought that he was the best option to win this game? The Broncos did every single thing possible to give the Jets an opportunity to get their first win. They did everything in their power, and Justin Fields in this offense could not get it done. The Jets had 82 yards of offense. They couldn't go a full football field in 4 quarters. Why should I trust you to come back and select a rookie quarterback? And here's another big reason why I think Tyrod Taylor should be starting. This is a developmental year, right? We need to see if we can develop some of these young guys. Is it good development for Mason Taylor that he's not getting targets? Is it good development that his quarterback can't go through progressions? Is it good development for this young offensive line, which, again, is doing a good job, but their quarterback is making them look horrendous because he holds on to the ball forever? Is it helping Olu's confidence? Is it helping these young offensive linemen where every week they're getting lambasted because of the pressure ratings, because fans see the PFF grades and like, oh, these guys stink? Is it helpful for their build? Does it help their confidence? Does it help their confidence, especially in the run game when they can't get a push because it's 2nd and 9? They can't move the ball on 1st down. Is it helpful for Breece Hall when he's got to run to stack boxes all the time? Is it helpful for Garrett Wilson to when he's getting the ball thrown behind him and getting his head knocked off? Is it helpful for Arian Smith? Do we know if Arian Smith can do something because he airmailed the pass to him today? Like, at least with Tyrod Taylor, I feel like we would at least see something. We'd at least get to see, oh, Mason Taylor is a decent tight end. Oh, they have some decent weapons. But you know what? We don't know that because guess what? They finished this game with negative passing yards. I will say this about the Jets. They find new, creative, amazing, disheartening ways to play the game of football. And look, this defense held the Broncos to 246 yards. They held them to under 80 yards rushing. But this offense, 2 of 15 on third down, 8 first downs in this game. 8. They ran 57 plays, the same amount as the Broncos. And the Jets, you know, they won the turnover battle too, and they still can win this game. All you needed to know, this is what I think will turn people off of Aaron Glenn. Because the defense actually played well, and for 1 week, Steve Wilkes is not the problem. You had a chance to win this game. You put Tyrod Taylor in. You show the locker room. You show those guys that are sacrificing everything on the field. I care about winning. I want to do everything I can to win this game no matter what. But you didn't do that. So now the guys in the locker room, they're 0-6. And I guarantee you have a lot of guys like Breece Hall, Quinnen Williams are going to start saying, why am I here? Why do I want to be here? Where I have a coaching staff that they say they want to win games, but actions speak louder than words. And you know what they said today? They didn't care about winning this game. They didn't care about getting that winless label off this team. They were going down with their guy. But guess what? All right, Aaron Glenn, you want to go down with the ship? Fine. But if you continue to go down with the ship, I guarantee you this team will be looking for a new captain next year. All right, let's get to some of your questions again. Let me know what they're saying in the press conference. I'll try to get in there as well. Super chat, jump to the front of the line. All right. Bench Fields from SpinMax. It was David Bruce. So again, David, great to have you on the show. Would love to. One question I would love to ask you. Hopefully, you're still in the chat. How was the atmosphere? Because it did seem great. And again, I hope you had a great trip in London. At least can enjoy the sights. But man, the offense was awful. The only good thing today was I met one of my heroes today, Wayne Corbett, and we got our pictures with him signed. My man, Wayne Corbett. Love it, David. I mean, look, at least David's having a good day. I guess that's one of the positives. So congratulations, David. You know, I would just love to hear what Wayne Corbett would have said about this game. I mean, they couldn't get 100 yards of offense in this game. 100 yards. It's just pitiful. Carlos. Hey, Rich, man, this is beyond putrid. I think Justin Fields' second-year experiment is completely bombed. Penalties were erased, and defense were great this game. Something has to give. And that's, I think, what adds to the frustration. The penalties weren't there today. They actually played discipline. The defense actually played well, which was the most frustrating part in this game. You're like, oh, they buttoned up the defense. They buttoned up the penalties. And the offense, which has been somewhat carrying this team, just imploded. Like, this wasn't just bad. Like, this reminded me, and again, I don't want to bring up PTSD. Like, I'm really starting to think, like, what was a worse game? Was the Zach Wilson Patriot game worse than this performance by Justin Fields? Because the Jets had 4 3-and-outs to start this game, and they still ended up with 2 field goals because they had great field position, because the special team showed up, because the defense forced a turnover. It's bad. I mean, we were talking about Bo Nix last year, how the Broncos won that game where they had 60 yards passing. Well, guess what? The Jets went 70 yards the other way. They didn't utilize it spin. I don't get why they don't use the screen pass. Breece Hall is a great pass catcher, but I think part of it's spin, and this is part of the problem. They're scared of this quarterback. They're doing everything. Every way this coaching, how they're coaching these games is they don't trust Justin Fields. And I don't think they trust Justin Fields to make the right read. And here's a scary thing. I don't think they trust his accuracy, which the screen pass is a layup. But we're seeing Justin Fields, everything looks difficult. Every pass today was behind or overthrown. Like, there wasn't touch. There was no touch out there, and this game was on a silver platter. The Broncos did everything they could. Like, if you're a Bronco fan, you're walking away with this, even though you're on top of the AFC West going, what was that? Like, we play like that against the Jets. Like, this is a game, like, if you're a Bronco fan, you're like, we should have ran them out of the building, and we couldn't even do that. And look, their defense played good. I'll give Jamie Sherwood a lot of credit. I think he looks finally comfortable in the scheme. I think Brownlee has brought a new attitude, physical, forcing that fumble. I mean, look, I think you had two big attitudes on that defense. Brownlee is a physical presence, and Jermaine Johnson. Like, to me, if I'm the Jets and Jermaine finishes the season healthy, he's one of the guys I want to build around because he's a leader. He is a someone that plays hard, that knows how to play the position, but it's just so freaking frustrating because all the turnovers, all the bad play calling. Like, Tony, I would go not that string yet, but you got Tyrod. So it's just, we were saying our defense played great, but Denver's fans are saying how awful their offense was. Look, the one touchdown, the blown coverage was terrible, but I mean, the Jets' run defense was stout today. Broncos couldn't get the run game really going. I thought that they were very good on the back end. I mean, there was a couple plays. I know Stevens got beat on that slant. But look, this Jets defense, they weren't the problem. They weren't the problem. And look, Aaron Glenn's got to take accountability for this. And the first question in the press conference is, why didn't you go to Tyrod? Oh, my God. Aaron Glenn, if Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback next week, what kind of question is that? I don't know, Aaron. Let me think. Your starting quarterback had -10 passing yards. It's a legitimate question. Don't act snarky. You scored 11 points. Your offense scored 9 points off of field goals. Your defense scored more points today than your starting quarterback. And you have the gall to say, what kind of question is that? I don't know, Aaron. You had 82 yards of offense. I don't know, Aaron. You had -10 passing yards in this game. I don't know, Aaron Glenn. You had -1 yards of offense after the first half. I don't know, Aaron. Maybe because you went 4 3-and-outs to start this game. I don't know, Aaron. Maybe because your 2 first offensive possessions were on the Broncos side of the field and you got 6 points out of that on 2 field goals. Like, if Aaron Glenn, this is going to be your attitude, you're not going to be here long. I'm sorry. Like, you can be that tough guy. You can be that, quote, a-hole when you're winning games and you're trying to win games. Because you know what I guarantee you the players in the locker room are going to look at that and be like, is he serious? Like, he didn't see that quarterback play. And look, I know guys like Justin Fields. I know people respect Justin Fields in that locker room. But you don't think everyone in that locker room is looking? And Tyrod Taylor is really loved in that locker room. Tyrod Taylor, don't forget, was almost voted a captain, quote, being the backup quarterback. That's how much respect and love he has in that locker room. You know what he did in the one game he played in against Tampa? He had a 72% completion percentage, almost 200 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. You know, he's efficient. He spreads the ball around. -10 passing yards. I don't know, like, how else you can say this. And as each week goes by, the more coat tight this is, getting. It is just horrendous. Like, the passing yards, here's a great example for the passing yards. Okay? They had 160, a bunch of those garbage time. But you saw even today in a close game, in a game you could win, your quarterback could not function. And this isn't a rookie. This is a fifth-year quarterback. Justin Fields on the sequence to end the first half. Our thought was not to let them end the half with the ball. So you know what that tells me? Your quarterback's not confident. He's either not confident in this coach, this offensive coordinator. He's not confident in himself. And if that's the case, you know what? You're an 0-5 team. You're an 0-5 team. Try. What's there to lose? You know what? If they return a touchdown on that, you know what? I'd laugh and say, at least the Jets tried. But, you know, it's the Jets. It'd be Jetsian. But they didn't even try. Like, you didn't even take a shot at the end zone. Maybe there's a defensive pass interference. Maybe if you're running Justin Fields, someone hits you high, you maybe get a call and can kick an untimed down field goal. I just, you didn't want them to get the ball. Okay. Aaron Glenn, it was a disappointing game, but our guys fought their asses off. Yeah, they did. You know, you're right, Aaron Glenn. Your guys fought their asses off. You know what wasn't up? This coaching staff. You're going back to America 0-6, winless. Right now, you're on track to have the number 1 pick. And if you're Woody Johnson, I think this is the wake-up game for Woody Johnson. Because other games are important to Woody, but the London game means something extra. There's a reason why Woody has the Jets in London all the time. It's because he has a lot of constituents out there. This is his chance to show off his pride and joy, the New York Jets, to his friends. And you know what his friends are saying? You look worse than last year. This coaching staff looks terrible. This is his spotlight game for the New York Jets, and that was the performance they put out there. Like I said, I think there's going to be serious discussions from Woody. And at this point, even the people that hate Woody the most, if he meddled, would you really be that upset at this point? Would you really be that upset? Because Woody said, I'll let you make the decision on Aaron Rodgers. I'll let you make the decision on the quarterback. I'll let you make the decision on whether to draft a quarterback or not. They didn't. The fact that the Jets, who had the 7th overall pick, did not even have a 30 visit with Jackson Dart, did not go to his pro day, is alarming and damning on this regime. Because I guarantee you, like, Woody Johnson, he's seeing what's happening with the Giants. He's seeing how the Giants are being praised. He's seeing that the Giants seemingly have their franchise quarterback. And he's looking at these guys saying, you know, you had the chance to draft him. What did you see that you didn't like? What is it that you saw in him that you didn't think he could be a starting quarterback? And should I trust you? If you didn't think he would be a good quarterback, why should I entrust in you that you're going to pick the right quarterback in the upcoming draft? Because I'll tell you, the pool's definitely getting smaller. Drew Aller is hurt. He's out. There's going to be 2 or 3 quarterbacks you're going to have to decide between. And you better pick the right one. And right now, I do not trust this regime to pick that freaking quarterback. Again, Super Chat to jump to the front of the line. Let's get to some more of your comments. Again, I'll check to see what other comments. AG, bench Fields, a proven loser. You know, I won't watch Fields playing. It's an insult to my time. 14 years, I agree. I agree. Tony, you know what? They make billions of dollars on this league. You know what? Spend it on the coach. I don't care. I do not care. You know, Richie Kotite 2.9. So let me ask the chat this, because I'll be honest. I really wasn't old enough to experience the Kotite Jets. I wasn't experienced enough to see that. Again, I've read all the stories. I've seen all the documentaries on him. But if you are someone that went through that era, be honest with me in the chat. What was worse? Was it Kotite's Jets or this Jets? Because I will say this at least about the Adam Gase Jets. The Adam Gase Jets were horrendous. I thought they were poorly coached, but they did not have talent. It was clear that the Adam Gase ones did not have talent. You know, and then the other thing, too, was the end of this game. The 4th down play. The way this game is going, I know it would have been an almost impossible field goal for Nick Folk, but I would have taken the chance with Nick Folk, because it's clear this coaching staff didn't trust Justin Fields the entire game. They didn't trust him in the 2-minute drill leading to halftime. They didn't trust him on big plays. They were very conservative with the play calls. So all of a sudden, you're going to trust Justin Fields on the play of the game, a 4th down. I would rather Nick Folk attempt a 70-yard field goal. Like, he hit almost from he hit a 58-yarder in Miami. I would rather have seen that. And I'm questioning it. Did anyone in the press conference ask him that decision? Did you consider kicking it? So 14 years apparently was there. He said this is worse. If you could elaborate 14 years, is it just the coaching? Is it the players? Is it just I would want to know. And that's the thing, Tony. I don't know where the win's coming from. Like, I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, the Steelers have tried to lose to the Jets. Jets can take advantage. The Jets had every opportunity in this game. Couldn't take advantage. And here's the other reason why I start Tyrod. Tyrod, to me, this season, especially now, is about developing these younger players. And you need to get answers on these players. We know what Garrett is. I see the talent with Mason Taylor, but I want to know, is he just a starting tight end? Is he a plus starting tight end? Could he be a star tight end? I'm not going to find the answers when my quarterback can't complete passes, when my quarterback was 9 of 17 for 45 yards in the game today. I'm not going to find that unless I find someone that can throw them the football. I'm not going to find out if Arian Smith can actually be a gadget or a deep threat if I don't have someone that can take a shot to him, that someone can go through the progressions for him. I'm not going to know if this offensive line is great because the quarterback behind them now is holding the ball way too long. And look, Tyrod will take his sacks. Tyrod will definitely take his lumps. Tyrod will hold it too long. But the thing with Tyrod is I know he's holding it because he's looking for something to develop down the field. Justin Fields is not seeing the field. He's not reading the field. The same issues that we've seen his entire career keep happening over and over again. This is what he is. He is a dynamic quarterback. He can make incredible plays with his legs, but he cannot read the defense. He cannot decipher it. And if his first read is not open, he is in major trouble. And we are seeing it now because they're taking Garrett Wilson away and they're basically making him try to scan the field, which he can't. They make the most exciting potential head coaching hire on paper. All they do is spectacularly implode. Kotite 1-13, Glenn 0-17. Garrett is a fraud. Garrett, again, had a rough day. I know he had some bad drops, but you look at the ball placement, it was freaking horrendous, like way behind him. Again, he should catch those, but I get it. Kotite was terrible. Glenn's, there's good things here, and he's making it worse. So basically what you're saying, 14 years with Kotite, there was nothing. He was a nothing coach, but they didn't have anything to build off of here. But at least with Glenn, there's something. And look, this is one of those things too. And I'll get back to some of the post-game reaction. In a weird way, if the Jets finish with the number 1 pick, in some ways, and again, I know this is not a great job for the history. I understand with New York. I understand with Woody. But could it be potentially one of the more better opening times for the Jets? They're going to have the 1 or 2 pick. You can pick the quarterback you want. You're going to have a solid tight end in Mason Taylor. You have a number 1 receiver in Garrett Wilson. You have a pretty solid offensive line, including young tackles. You have some defensive talent. I mean, like I was saying it before, like I think there's a chance that you could also see some head coaches with experience become available. I could see a world where Harbaugh is available with the Ravens. But I also would say this, if Kevin Stefanski gets fired with the Browns, and I'm wary about taking guys right after being fired, I think that whole Cleveland situation was so horrendous, but I thought he did a great job, and I think he's a good offensive coach. I would hire him. I'd hire Kevin Stefanski, let him draft his quarterback, and go from there. So, again, more free Jets therapy. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Super chat, jump to the front of the line and make a donation to the channel. Again, if you want to make a donation, I mean, I do take donations on the super chat because I'm basically offering Jets therapy. So I have a theory with this, Dan, and I'm glad you asked this question because I'll dive deeper into my trade deadline. But I think that what the Jets do at the trade deadline will be very telling. If they indeed do a fire sale, to me, the regime that is here believes they are getting a second year or that they've been assured that they're getting a second year. Now, again, a lot can happen over the final 8 to 9 weeks of the season. If the Jets finish with the number 1 pick and they look lifeless and they look completely defeated, then and maybe head coaching options become available, then yeah, they might be gone. The one thing that kind of concerns me with this trade deadline is this, because I can see this scenario happening, is if Woody Johnson, especially after this game, goes down to Mucci and goes down to Aaron Glenn and says, I better see some results. I better see something from you two because I don't care how much money it will cost me. If we are picking in the first pick of the draft or the second pick of the draft, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to make a big decision. And if that's the case and the Jets aren't active at the deadline, I think it's telling you that this regime is feeling the pressure that they have to win games. So then all of a sudden it's, do we trade Quinnen now or do we wait to the offseason? Because if we don't win 3 or 4 games, we're not going to be here. Do we trade Breece Hall now? But if we have to finish the season with Isaiah Davis, I think that will be very telling. And look, the obvious answer is what Gerald's is saying, is trade assets at the draft. They're 0-6. But the problem I'm seeing, I could see happening is if this regime is given the ultimatum that they can't finish with the first overall pick or they have to win games or show something, does that make them hold on to guys? Because if they feel their jobs are in jeopardy, they're going to have to try to win games. And they're not just going to trade players away, make that job even harder by trading guys away and making it harder to compete. Now, I would look at that and say, that to me is the big tell. If the Jets are not active at the deadline, you're pissed that they're not active. I believe 2 things. Number one, they've been told they're on the hot seat. There's no guarantee they're coming back for year 2. And I guess the silver lining is if they don't finish out the season well, guess what? They're gone. But if they are active at the deadline, at the time of the deadline, they've been assured that they're coming back or they feel confident they're getting year 2. Because if they have doubts, I don't think they're going to be active. We need someone the Super Bowl had the look. That's if Harbaugh wants to come here. Like, I feel like Harbaugh might have more options. I think Stefanski could be more realistic just for who's available. So again, that's a very good question. But look, we'll get into it. I'm going to have Dom C on later this week to talk the NFL draft. We'll do a draft. We'll do a trade deadline special. I think there's a lot of storylines, and I think big questions have to be asked. I mean, if I'm the front office, you got to go to Quinnen, and say, look, Quinnen, your guaranteed money's coming up. We want you to be here. We're willing to offer you an extension, but do you want to be here? And if Quinnen says he doesn't mind playing here, if he gets the biggest contract, then maybe. But if he's saying, look, Quincy's not going to be here, I don't want to be here without my brother, I want to go somewhere and win, then you could trade him now or in the offseason. I think that there's assets on this team. Breece is obviously the big one that comes to mind. I still am waiting for Allen Lazard to be traded to Pittsburgh. I will have those mock drafts, unfortunately, sooner than later, Tony. And the special teams play good. I could see this team quitting on their coaches because the coaches quit on this team today. Let's be fair. We talk about players quitting on coaches. I look at the opposite today. I think the coaches quit on the players because they had every opportunity to win this game. They could have brought in Tyrod Taylor for a spark, but they said, damn it, we're going to go down with Justin Fields, and we don't necessarily care about winning this football game. And I think that's going to resonate in this locker room because this locker room's going, we travel all the way to London. We have the players only meeting, especially on that defense. We've been getting mocked. We've been getting ripped. We come out, we do our job. We put this team in a spot to win, and the offense can't do anything. And the fact that Aaron Glenn is so defiant after this game, oh, what do you mean Justin Fields is my quarterback? When he got defensive saying, what kind of question is that? I don't know. We saw your quarterback had negative passing yards. My question is, what do you see? His explanation, Aaron Glenn, for the botched 2-minute drill at the end of the half makes no sense. Basically admits they weren't trying to score. Just wanted to keep the ball away from Darren to get the ball to start the second half. You know what that is? That's a loser mentality. That is a loser mentality. So you basically are saying we don't want to try to win this game. You're 0-5, and you're afraid. You're afraid to give the ball back. You know what you're saying? I don't trust my quarterback to move the football. So if you don't trust the quarterback to move the football, why is that quarterback in the game? Explain that. Aaron Glenn is not making any sense. Any sense. You just run out of things to say. You run out of things to say. You had a quarterback that had more sack yards today than passing yards. And you're getting defensive, Aaron Glenn. There are guys who have bad games. It doesn't mean you just bench them. You know better than that on Justin Fields. So you didn't want to win this game. Every Jet fan watching this game will tell you that if you had to put your house for the Jets to win this game, you say, I'm putting Tyrod Taylor in. What is it that you saw in Justin Fields? And to bristle at this press saying, you don't know what you're talking about. We do, Aaron Glenn, because like I said on my preview, Jet fans might not know the X's and O's. Jet fans might not be guys that can break down tape. But the New York Jet fan has very fluent in bad football because we've seen it forever. We know what bad football looks like, and that was bad, horrendous football today. Why did you not even consider going? The fact that this coaching staff did not think Tyrod Taylor could win this game. Tyrod Taylor is a very capable backup quarterback. And you didn't think he could win this game? So you either don't believe in Tyrod or you have no faith in Tyrod, but you believe in Justin Fields? I'm sorry. Justin Fields isn't a rookie or second-year quarterback that you're trying to develop. Offense shouldn't look this hard. You're in plus territory. Your quarterback is taking horrendous sacks, taking you out of field goal range, not letting you compete. And you're like, oh, we're going to keep going with him. You know what this does for Aaron Glenn? It makes you clueless. Because it's like, what games are you watching? What game are you watching? We are seeing this defense, after their players-only meeting, ball out, do everything they can to win this game. Your special teams do everything to win this game. I'll tell you this. I think there's going to be a massive divide in this locker room. I think there's going to be a massive divide in this locker room, especially after this game. You saw Jermaine Johnson after the game. I'm still pissed. I don't like to effing lose. You know what? Jermaine Johnson did his part. He came in. He missed time. He had a sack today. He's a leader on that defense. You know what he did? What you didn't do, Aaron Glenn? He got this defense to play. He got this defense to show up and put you in a position to win a game. The players did not fail Aaron Glenn today. And I know Justin Fields failed on the field, but whose decision was it to keep trotting him out there? Because Aaron Glenn, you keep saying you believe in this quarterback, but the play calling, how you balance for time, like you were running the ball in the 2-minute drill. No urgency. And you basically have admitted you weren't trying to score at the end of a half. That is the most asinine answer I've ever heard from a head coach. And trust me, I've heard a lot of asinine answers from Jets coaches over the years. So if I'm Woody Johnson on this play right home, so Aaron, tell me why we're not trying to score when we're losing. Oh, and tell me why we're not trying to score when we get the ball back in the second half. So we have a chance to, create some separation. But we're not trying to score. How do you win football games, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, that's right. You have to score points. I forgot. So, man, I am just – I look at Aaron Glenn in this presser, and I'm like, are you serious? You're going to tell this fan base after this quarterback had 9 completed passes, took 9 sacks a game, that you believe he can be your starter, and you're questioning us to question you that he should be the starter? Really? Really? I understand the play calling was bad. And look, Tanner Engstrom is going to get killed in this game. But I also feel for Tanner Engstrom too. Because Tanner Engstrom is hamstrung by this quarterback. He is a quarterback that can't read defense, can't go through progressions. He's basically asked to coach offense with both arms and one leg tied behind his back. So, and who puts him in that position? Aaron Glenn. The most innovative I've seen this offense, the most I've seen this offense work in terms of a passing attack was when Tyrod Taylor was running this offense. And you look, Garrett Wilson, a great play in this game. The third down that came up when Garrett Wilson missed on second down, that ball was so far behind him. If he throws that ball where it's supposed to be, not only does Garrett get a first down, he gets at least 15 yards on that play. And instead, it's 3rd and 10. This was one of the worst displays I've ever seen for this Jets offense. And we've seen bad. 2022 Patriot game with Zach Wilson, anyone? Like, this was a game. Like, this is something I want you to think about. Justin Fields after the game, I probably could have gotten the ball out some, but I think most of the time they were pretty much covered us well. Let me ask Aaron Glenn this. Aaron Glenn, your starting quarterback that you're defending so vehemently, you know the trainer on your sideline had better passing stats than him. You had better passing stats. You know, the water boy. Because guess what? They had 0 passing yards. Your starting quarterback had -10. -10. In the way you were bristling at us and the media and telling your fan base, you know what? How could you question my decision to keep him in? How could you question my decision not to put Tyrod Taylor in? Well, because we feel that Tyrod Taylor could actually move the football, could actually get us first downs. Garrett Wilson on the moment caught between him and Aaron Glenn going to halftime. I just didn't know exactly what the plan was. Once I figured it out, I was disappointed. I think these players are going to turn on this coaching staff. I really do. I really think that they're going to turn on this coaching staff and basically say, you know what? We're tuning you out. Because if you're a player on this team and you have coaches that have now in their press conference told you to the world, we were not trying to score at the end of a half, that is just negligent. And to not even tease the idea to put Tyrod Taylor in, you want to start Justin Fields, maybe he makes adjustment, fine. But when he doesn't have it those first series or two, pull the plug. Let Tyrod try to win a game. Because even if you win this game ugly and there are still a lot of issues in this game, we're talking different. Like, Jets get their first win. Aaron Glenn had the foresight as a head coach to see that his starting quarterback didn't have it today and made the decision to put in Tyrod Taylor to give this team the best opportunity to win. And you send a message to the players. I don't care how much you are paid. I don't care your status on this team. Me as a head coach, I am doing everything in my power to win us a football game. And you bragged about how this team is going to compete, how this team is going to be fiery, how this team is going to compete late in this season. And you just admitted 6 games in that you were not trying to compete, that you took your foot off the gas pedal, that you were not trying to score points, that you were afraid to give the ball back. Well, you know what, Aaron Glenn, if you're that afraid, don't be a head coach. Don't be a head coach. You took this job. You understand this fan base, or you said you understand this fan base. Don't mock this fan base for its intelligence, because this fan base is passionate, but they know bad football. And they know what it's like when a team quits, and a team that has a loser mentality. That is a loser mentality. When you basically told the world, I didn't even think about throwing Tyrod Taylor. You know what you told your players today? You know what you basically just told them? You know what you just told Jets fans? F you. F you. I don't care. I'm going to do this my way, whether it's the right way, the wrong way. I'm going to do this my way, and I don't care. I don't care about winning a football game. I don't care as long as I'm right with my decision-making. That is horrifying. You didn't even consider putting Tyrod Taylor in. A guy that this team loves. You basically told these guys in the locker room that fought their A's off today, that fought to turn this defense around. The defense has been a laughingstock. A defense that has had your DC, the guy you hired, on the hot seat. They fought for him today. I'll tell you this, that team fought for Steve Wilkes. This defense fought their butt off today against a good offense. I'll give the defense their flowers. I will give credit where it is due. The defense had a great game. They forced a turnover. They had a safety. Your offense couldn't get a touchdown. And if I'm Woody Johnson and I hear these quotes, you have some big decisions to make. Because if your coaches are not trying to score points at the end of a half, that is horrendous. I mean, I wish RJF Media, I wish we could. I really do. Jets fans are suffering needlessly for Tannenbaum's decision to hire Aaron Glenn. Yeah, I would love to hear the Tannenbaum selection. And look, this goes back to the problem I had with this search. And look, people have asked me my thoughts on the head coaching hiring. Obviously, Vrabel was my number one, but I knew that wasn't realistic once the Patriots became open. I still will say my number one choice is Brian Flores because I wanted someone that had coaching experience. Because if you're a first-time head coach, it is easy to get overwhelmed. And it is abundantly clear that he is overwhelmed. You have players that are fighting in this game. Garrett Wilson is dealing with a knee injury, not hip per sources. According to Connor Hughes, will have an MRI. You know, Garrett upset about his injury post-game. I'm just trying to wait for the stuff to come back. It's really messing with my mental, and I just don't want to think about it. And look, if I'm Garrett Wilson and I hurt, I'm shutting it down. I'm not killing myself. Garrett Wilson, we got to have that nothing to lose mentality. It got to be obvious. We're out here as players, and it's like, let's go. Like, I feel like we should see that the fans, you should be able to see we're playing like we have nothing to lose. I don't think that's what's here today. We're 0-6, man. Like, why? Well, Garrett Wilson is playing his ass off. The defense played their ass off. This team was sabotaged by their head coach today. There's no other way to put it, and that is horrifying. Because you have a head coach that said all the right things, said all puffed his chest down at the beginning of this year, and you have players saying, we are fighting, we are trying to win, and you had a head coach that not only told you that they were not trying to score points at the end of a half today, you have a head coach that is looking at you and saying, why do you think I should have benched my starting quarterback, even though he had negative passing yards, took 9 sacks? It's like, are you watching the same game? Like your quarterback has said, our thought was not to let the Broncos have the football back. They're scared. And you know what, Aaron Glenn, you're right. Your players are fighting their asses off. You know what the problem is? Their head coach is incompetent. Their head coach is afraid. Their head coach is scared. You're supposed to be a player. Aaron Glenn, go back to your playing days. If you found out that your offense and you're a defensive player and you're grinding, you're giving everything you freaking have, and you find out your coach told the offense, I don't want you to score. I just want to make sure the other team doesn't get the ball back. How would you take that as a player? I feel like you would not take that well. Now you're a head coach, and you just told the media, oh, I didn't want the other team to get the ball back. Not we're trying, not we're pushing. It is just an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. In a 13-11 game, you had 0 net passing yards. 0 net. You had negative. You had 82 yards of offense. 82. Couldn't even get a full 100 yards of a football field. Absolutely disgusting. Let's get to some more of your questions. Super chat, jump to the front of the line. Spinmax, Rich, you're right. Glenn gave all the Jets fans and those who spent a year's salary to see him on Monday a big FU. He did not care to win. Yeah. You told a fan base that is jilted, a fan base that wants to believe you, a fan base that spent countless money to go watch an 0-5 team in London that, you know what, I wasn't trying to score. I wasn't trying to score. That, to me, I almost feel it's a fireable offense. I really do. And I'm curious to see how Woody takes this because say what you want about Woody. Woody will take action. Now, again, I don't always agree with the action, but I think he's got to be appalled. You know, it's just mind-numbing. And I feel horrendous for these players. And I'm at the point now, if some of these players ask out the trade deadline, I can't blame them. Why should I believe in this head coach when the players clearly don't? Like, I saw this defense fight for themselves for pride. I saw them fight for Steve Wilkes. And I have a head coach that's basically telling me 2 things at the end of this game. One, I can't believe you have the audacity to question whether benching a quarterback, even though the quarterback had negative passing yards in a game. And I can't believe at the end of a half, we weren't trying to score. And one of the most embarrassing sequences where they're running the ball in the 2-minute drill. They clearly don't have faith in their quarterback. Your actions speak louder than words. You don't believe in Justin Fields. If you believe in Justin Fields, you will throw the football at the end of the half or at the end of this game. You didn't. You don't have faith in him. And stop telling us you have faith in him, because you clearly don't. Your actions are telling us exactly what you think about him as a quarterback, and you're just scared to admit it. It is just so infuriating, because you feel like if they put Tyrod Taylor in this game, they could win this football game. And now you're hurting this team, because now what's Mason Taylor look like? What does this young receiving core look like? Because they don't get an opportunity to show what they can do. Not with this quarterback. Not with the quarterback that's 9-17 for 45 yards that takes all the sacks. Breece Hall couldn't get going because the boxes are stacked. 22 carries, 59 yards. You put the ball more in Breece Hall's hands than you did Justin Fields. You trust him a lot more than Justin Fields. You look at the receiving. Reynolds, 3 catches, 25 yards. Garrett Wilson, 3 catches, 13 yards. Beck, 1 catch, 6 yards. Mason Taylor had 1 catch for 2 yards. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And it's just so frustrating, because the special teams played well. The defense played well. If you were to tell me the defense allowed 13 points, I would say the Jets are winning a game. They allowed 13 points. And of those 13 points, the Jets also had a safety in this game. Like, that was the difference. It's a 2-point game. Jets had a safety. It's just so miserable. And it's just so frustrating, because you want to believe in Aaron Glenn and the story, but when you have a coaching staff that doesn't seem to want the best for his team, like, it's one thing to fall on your sword for what you believe is right, but it's another thing to fall on a sword and not listen and not try something differently. And I know that Aaron Glenn was quick to shut down. He's like, oh, everyone has bad games. All right. Well, you know what, Aaron Glenn, you talk about accountability. That was your preaching thing. Guys had to be held accountable. Okay. Xavier Gibson had a bad game. What'd you do? Oh, that's right. You cut him. Oh, that's right. Oh, your starting quarterback had -1 passing yards. Maybe he was just overwhelmed. Maybe he just didn't have it today. Maybe he just didn't have the confidence. Maybe you let Tyrod Taylor come in, win this game, take some pressure off, and you can work on things with Justin Fields. But look, you look at this, you rolled the dice on Fields. You paid him a lot of money. There's a lot to like about Justin Fields. He's young. He's a great leader. He's a good character. He's athletic. But in this league, you have to be able to win from the pocket consistently, and you have to be able to go through progressions, and you have to have an internal clock in your head. And unfortunately for Justin Fields, he does not process on that level to be successful. He can be a guy on a very good team like Pittsburgh who can win games with athleticism. You can be a 9-8 team. But if you're asking him to pull people up, to raise the talent of a team, you're in trouble. And I'm getting to the point, too, where in a couple weeks, I want to see Brady cook. I'm at the point, too, like, you look at this coaching staff, I think Woody's also going to ask the question, why didn't you draft a quarterback? Like, even early day 3, someone we could at least see if we have something here with. Like, the Jets don't have a long-term answer. Even Tyrod. Tyrod's not a long-term answer. But look at Tyrod. The reason I want to see him is I want to see him at least throw to Mason Taylor, at least try to get Arian Smith going. And look, if Garrett Wilson's hurt, I'm shutting him down until he's 100%. I'm not risking him, especially on an 0-6 team. And how's his offense going to look next week without Garrett Wilson? You built this team without a number 2 receiver, and I said the biggest problem with this team is, God forbid, Garrett Wilson gets hurt. Well, it looks like Garrett Wilson is hurt. It's just so frustrating. Sauce Gardner on the defense. We were talking about everyone just took it personal. I know me personally, I took it personal for sure, and the rest of the defense did as well. Garrett Wilson getting an MRI tomorrow. John Simpson, he's my quarterback. I'm going to do whatever I can to help him out. Let's see. Just reading some more of the quotes. I I just feel like you're going to get a divide in this locker room. I keep saying it. I think you're going to see guys, especially pass catchers, going to get to the point that like we need to get the ball. Why not give Tyrod an opportunity? It's just there's too many troubling signs with this team to make me feel confident in this coaching staff. Lil Jordan Ron and Let's Go Nolan, thank you for the recent Giants content. You're the man. Of course, Lil Jordan, I appreciate that you watch. I'm trying to do as much New York content as I can. Again, and I think it's important too, like if I'm Woody Johnson, I think this has to be going through his mind. The New York Jets didn't do a top 30 visit with Jackson Dart. They didn't go to his pro. They didn't do anything. And they have the number 7 pick in the draft. And if I'm Woody, I'm going to this group saying, why the heck did we not scout this kid? Did we even look at him? And if you didn't think he looked the part or had the attributes to be the face of a franchise, why should I entrust in you to make the right decision to pick my quarterback? Tomlin knew to take him out. They would not have made the playoffs if he stayed in. That's a head coach I want. Well, if Pittsburgh ever gets rid of Tomlin, I would, in a heartbeat, hire him. Giants are rising with Dart and his energy. Fields doesn't have. I don't think it's the energy with Fields. I think it's the production. He can't get the football out. He can't get it to the playmakers. He can't get Garrett Wilson going. He can't get Mason Taylor going. Like, the problem with Fields is when he's really good, he can be really good. But when he is bad, it is shockingly bad. Like, I just want to bring up something for you too, because I will say the 2025 Jets, I think, have broken all of us in some way. I started this show by saying something I thought I never would say. This coaching staff is making me look at certain players and go back and say, you know what? I was wrong on certain things. Like I thought I would never say a single nice thing about Adam Gase. And I've said nice things about Adam Gase, which I thought I never would do. I would say this thing about Zach Wilson. Do I think Zach Wilson would have worked out here? No. But Zach Wilson, I actually tweeted this on the handle at the Rich Sports Talk. And I was thinking, was it worse? Was Zach Wilson better than what I'm seeing from Justin Fields? And I think there's two games that come up. There are two games that come up, which is both in 2022. The New England Patriot game in Week 10, where the Jets, of course, lost in overtime 10-3. And Wilson, of course, didn't take responsibility for his performance. And then the Jacksonville game where he got benched for the immortal Chris Streveler in that game. So let's look at today's game. Justin Fields, if you were to look at the stats, total would have had -10 passing yards. But we'll be generous. We'll say he had 45 passing yards before the sacks. He had 45 passing yards. Zach Wilson, and this is terrifying. Zach Wilson in the Patriot game, 9 of 22, 40% completions, but for 77 yards. So he had more yards and the same amount of completions in that disaster. Okay. Zach Wilson against Jacksonville, 9 of 18, 50%, still not the same completion percentage, 92 yards passing. So those were the two worst Zach Wilson games we'd ever seen. And Justin Fields arguably had a worse game today. I mean, the Jets are doing things that are unfathomable. Yeah. I think, Soren, they're going to try to do a fire sale. I think Breece Hall and Quincy Williams will be at the top of that list. Again, super chat to jump to the front of the line. Make a donation. Again, like and subscribe so we can get as many great Jet fans as possible. Again, being your Jets therapy on the weekend, I'm always used to doing that. Lil Jordan, Fields is a great athlete, but I don't think he has the processing ability to be a championship quarterback. I agree. I've surrounded him with a great all-around team to win. Jets do have the talent. The problem, though, is they don't have a second receiver. They don't have an elite offense. They have pieces. The problem is they don't have enough pieces, I really think, for Justin Fields. And I think that this is going to be a turning point for a lot of things. I think this is a turning point for how especially the fan base and the ownership views this coaching staff and regime. I also think it's a turning point too, where I look at the players. Like, if you're a player on this team, how do you look at this and go, this is a well-coached team? Last year, we said the problem with the Jets was the coaching. And again, I think Salah's been a good DC this year, but it was clear this coaching staff was overwhelmed. And I even said, this coaching staff did not have to be great to be successful. This coaching staff just had to be in the middle of the pack, just average coaching staff. And I thought this team could be competitive. But it is clear that this coaching staff somehow is worse. And for this coaching staff, they've fallen into doing Salah-isms, a great week of practice, Jets, this is all you need to know. And this is, to me, the most damning thing. Aaron Glenn is saying, I can't believe what we saw today. I can't believe you're questioning why I should have started Tyrod. Today's -10 pass yards is the worst game in Jets history and the worst by any team in 27 years. I will repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. The Jets' -10 net pass yards is the worst in Jets history, and we've seen bad. And it's the worst by any team in 27 years. And Aaron Glenn, after seeing the worst passing game in Jets history, is wondering why we're calling him out for why the Jets basically should have made a quarterback change. If I'm Woody Johnson, I'm saying, what do you see? Explain to me what you're seeing differently. Garrett Wilson has knee injury, source confirms. Previously thought to be a hip. Will have MRI. Doesn't appear to be an ACL, which is good, but tests will clarify the significance. Another misery today. Again, just add to it. Jets 82 total net yards in a game is the third lowest in single game franchise history, regular season and playoffs. They are only ahead of two other performances. They famously were the 2021 Week 18 game at Buffalo, where the Jets had 53 yards. That was at the end of Zach Wilson's rookie year. In 1976, Week 14 against the Bengals, where the Jets had only 72 yards. So Aaron Glenn can seriously look at one of the bottom three performances in Jets offensive history and the worst quarterbacking performance in Jets history and stand up there and say, how could you question me not putting Tyrod Taylor in? The last time the negative Jets passing, the -10 net pass yards is the worst in a game in Jets history and the worst by any team since the San Diego Chargers had -19 passing yards on September 20th, 1998 against the Chiefs. And I know that game in particular. That game was the Week 3 game against the Chiefs. That was the infamous game where Ryan Leaf, in his third game as a quarterback for the Chargers, I remember the stat line, was 1 of 15 passing with 5 turnovers in that game. Only had 4 yards total for passing, but of course, we know the negative comes on the turnovers. So we're talking about arguably one of the worst quarterback games in NFL history by Ryan Leaf, who was one of the worst busts in NFL history in his third game. And Justin Fields in year 5 is on that level. I mean, you can't make it up. I'll give the Jets this. I'll give them this. They're at least creative and they're interesting in the ways that they go around this. I'm not convinced Glenn was ever an exceptional DC either. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he gets another job after this. I'm running out of things to say. And I think this is the turning point for this fan base, too. I don't think this fan base has any faith in Aaron Glenn. And it's tough because you want to believe in Aaron Glenn being a former player. But I'm curious if Aaron Glenn steps back from what he said in this press conference and goes back to being a player and thinks about if he heard a coach say that, about how they weren't trying to score the half. How would he take that as a player? Like, he's supposed to understand players because he was a former player. And the other thing, too, is for Justin Fields, I feel bad for him because, let me get some breaking non-Jets news. So for college football, breaking news from Pete Thamel as of 3 minutes ago, coming into ESPN, Penn State has fired James Franklin. For all our Nittany Lion fans in the chat, that Penn State has fired James Franklin. And look, Aaron Glenn, like, you talked to who I think is the vocal leader of this offense, which is Garrett Wilson, and you told him that you weren't trying to score and you were wondering why he's pissed. He deserves to be pissed. If I'm dead serious. If I'm Garrett Wilson and I'm Sauce Gardner, but especially if I'm Garrett Wilson, who I really believe is the face of this franchise, and I know it might be out of place for a player, but if he really does feel like this coaching staff isn't going to work, I would say, I would call Woody and say, let me have a private meeting, Woody, and just go to Woody. Woody, I committed to this team. I could have asked to be traded, but I do want to play here. I want to be a part of the solution. But I can tell you, maybe I didn't like how you handled the Robert Saleh thing, but I will tell you this. These coaches are clueless. And I can tell you that these coaches are not going to help us solve the problem. Like, it's getting to that point. Like, and even the coaching today, all game, you are afraid to let Justin Fields make a play. And don't tell me you're confident in him. You're not. We'll see the play call. You wouldn't attempt a 62-yarder with Nick Folk. If I'd have put money on it, I would have said, you know what? Nick Folk, I would trust at least, even if he misses, okay, you went with the best play there. You went with the opportunity to get the go-ahead point. And maybe there's a penalty on the Broncos where you get a bit closer on the kick. I just don't get it. This coaching staff is coaching scared. They're coaching scared because they don't believe in their quarterback. But what's even more alarming, it doesn't seem like they believe in themselves. And I think it's just so frustrating. Look, the passing game was non-existent today. It was not existent. And here's the other thing, too. I know they're probably not thinking this in the moment, but what's more embarrassing for Justin Fields and what's more embarrassing for his confidence? Is it that he got benched after having a bad half and Tyrod Taylor came in? Yeah, that's bad. But what's worse? Having him go out there, continue to struggle, continue to not have it, and make some of the most laughable NFL history. Because he's going to be asked about this now for the next week. He's going to see it on social media. Like, you put your quarterback in a position that you not only didn't put him in a position to succeed, you've now put your quarterback in a position where he is so embarrassed. I'm curious about his confidence going forward. Because this is one of those games where the confidence you have, because you didn't have confidence in him to run that 4th-and-1 play. You didn't have confidence to let him throw the football in this game. It is just mind-numbing what this coaching staff has done. I don't think they're going to be here at the end of the season. I really don't. Tony, I can't say better. They're craving being themselves. That's the best way to put it. We will do a trade deadline special coming up, but look, final thoughts again, super chat to jump to the front of the line. Here's my thoughts. I thought this was embarrassing. I have questions about this coaching staff. It's clear Justin Fields is a long-term answer. But the things I take out of this game, number one, I think this team is going the wrong way fast. Number two, I think that you now have to start having those serious discussions about the long-term impact of this coaching staff and regime. Because how often does a team, if they're picking one or two in a draft, keep their jobs, even if they're on the job for 1 year? The other thing, too, is you wonder if this also wakes Woody up a bit. Because, again, being embarrassed in prime time in London, which means a lot to him, and if you don't believe me, what happened after they got lost last year in London, I wonder if this starts to wake him up saying, I might not have the right guys in here. The other thing I also am concerned about now, too, is I think this coaching staff is unintentionally dividing this locker room because you can tell how desperate these guys were for a win and wanted to win. And the fact that you sabotage this team as a head coach, didn't allow a backup quarterback who's a veteran in this league, who's well-respected and has shown that he can play in this league, an opportunity when it's clear number one quarterback, did not have it, is just negligible. You basically now have to look at all those men in the locker room and say, you know what? I don't care about winning because I didn't make the move to try to win this game. I tried to win. I went down with my ego. I went down with my ego that this quarterback was going to figure it out. And everyone who watched this game, everyone on the broadcast, anyone in London and in America saw that Justin Fields was not the answer today. And the fact that we're all sitting here looking at Aaron Glenn and saying, how are you not seeing the same thing that we are all seeing is alarming. And the fact that you at the end of this game, when all offseason you're talking about going for it, being aggressive, being like your predecessor in Detroit, being an alpha male, going for it, doing everything to win a game, and you admitted to your fan base and to your star player that you were more afraid of losing the football at the end of a quarter and at the end of the half than trying to win a football game is damn disturbing. And I really am starting to think it's taking me a while to get here, but I'm getting close to this team's one and done because I think you're going to see this team quit on this coaching staff. Because this team, look, the defense, they came out today. They played for Steve Wilkes. They showed pride today. This offense didn't. This offense was a joke. And you're basically, you know what the players are going to say? My coach did not try to win the game, and my coach doesn't have my best interest. You don't think Garrett Wilson and Mason Taylor and all those pass catchers are looking around saying, we had negative 10 net passing yards. We had 55 passing yards in this game. I want to get my touches. And it's also, if you want this team to develop, I think it's best to put Tyrod Taylor because we need to see what Mason Taylor is. We need to get Mason Taylor involved. We need to get Arian Smith, see if he can actually be a piece of the future. You're not going to do that when the quarterback can't complete passes, when a quarterback can't read defense, and when a quarterback is being coached like they will not let him throw the ball. This isn't a first-time thing. The game against the Dolphins, they let him throw the ball one time on the opening drive. They don't trust Justin Fields to throw the football. If you don't trust your quarterback, you do not have a quarterback. You have a problem. But despite Justin Fields and the problems he had today, despite the problems that this team has, despite this roster construction, it all comes down to this. What is the biggest problem with the New York Jets after 6 weeks? And it's a very simple answer. It's this coaching staff and, more importantly, Aaron Glenn. Because we see around the league, we see bad teams that have less talent than the Jets with new head coaches. They're showing progress. They're moving forward. The Jets are moving back. The Jets are moving toward Rich Kotite era. And when you are making this fan base reminisce about the days of Adam Gase as almost a positive, and today made people think that Zach Wilson's worst quarterback performances and somehow lowered the bar today, that is disturbing. And it hurts because the Jets were in a new country. The Jets had a new opportunity. The Jets had opportunity after opportunity to win this game and steal one and get a win in the win column and get that winless title. But instead, you could change the country, but you couldn't change the Jets. Aaron Glenn wanted to change the culture. Well, we're 6 weeks in, and we are still waiting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be live after every single Jets game throughout the season. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our live stream. Also, check us out wherever podcasts are available. If you have ideas for future videos, make sure to leave them in the comments section below. Also, check out our community page for all the latest short videos and community polls. Again, guys, we will be having a trade deadline special. We'll be getting Dom C on here to talk about the NFL draft very shortly as well. So a lot of great draft content coming out, especially throughout the offseason. And we will have all the latest for the trade deadline, reacting to all the moves made and previewing. I'll have the preview this week. Again, if you have any questions that you want, please put them below and I will answer them in the next video. But again, the final from London, the Jets try to keep calm and carry on. Instead, they will carry home that winless title back to New Jersey. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here. We will see you next time on the next Rich Sports Talk, thank you so much for joining us.